Baseball.
I know you're so happy about it. I actually think the Red Sox might not suck this year.
This is the Baseball Hour with Tony Maz.
Me!
Presented by Bigelow Tea, Jackson Lumber, Blue Moonlight, Wellesley Testosterone, FindMassMoney.com, Gem Plumbing, and by Golf.
On Boston's home for sports, 98.5, the Sports Hub.
Ruiz at second. 2 down. Ground ball to third. Bregman with the dig. And got him, and the Red Sox win it. A big-time answer to that road trip. Out of the All-Star break, Red Sox win the series against the reigning champs. They win today 4-3.
Oh, you needed it. 4-5 now in this tough stretch. You'll take it going into this trade deadline. Take a series against a very good L.A. Dodger team on to Minnesota. But every day, every win counts, given what's coming here on Thursday.
All right, here we go. Red Sox beat the Dodgers 2 out of 3. They finished their 9-game gauntlet. And that's what I'll call it, a gauntlet. 9 games against the best teams in the National League with a 4-5 record. And so here's my question to you. Assess the 9 games for me. Tell me what you think. Good job, bad job. Does it reinforce your belief in them? Does it not change your belief in them? I want to know how you feel about the Red Sox. Because I'll be candid, I think everybody's kind of overhyping it a little bit. 4-5, not bad, which is how I would categorize it. But when you really dig into the weeds and start examining the details, I sort of look at it and say the Red Sox might have gotten a little lucky in there. Although I do think they played better at home than they did on the road. They stole a couple of wins on the road and were able to salvage a 4-5 record, and I think that is the right word. In the same breath, I will tell you that if you can come out of it with 4-5, given the way you played, particularly on the road, not so bad. So anyway, let's open up the phone, 617-779-0985. The simple way to say it, this is a big week for the baseball team in town. A big week. And I want to get to the atmosphere at Fenway Park over the weekend as well, because I think there was something to be taken out of that in terms of the number of Dodgers fans that overran the ballpark and completely took it over. There is a story there too. But as it pertains to the baseball, let me first tell you this. The Red Sox have now played 107 games. They're 57-50, which is 7 games over 500. Pretty simple. And their run differential is plus 54. And I mentioned the run differential. Jared Carabas and I used to bicker about this constantly over the years, Jimmy. He used to throw that one in my face. You go, oh, now you're a fan of run differential. Toronto Blue Jays have a run differential of plus 42. They're in first place. They're 20 games over 500. The Red Sox have a run differential of plus 54, which in theory should make them better than the Blue Jays, and they're 7 games over. So again, the Blue Jays, 20 over. The Red Sox, 7 over, and yet the Red Sox have a better run differential. And here's what I would tell you. That 57-50 that the Red Sox are, I think is a little deceiving because of the 6 games they played against Washington and Colorado. So in those games against the Nationals and the Diamondbacks, no, the Rockies and the Nationals, the Red Sox went 6-0 and had a run differential of plus 40. 40, plus 40 in 6 games. The other 101 games, they were plus 14. So again, the point being that the nucleus of who the Red Sox are based on those numbers, based on one loss and run differential, a large chunk of it is in those 6 games. The rest of the time, they've basically been a 500 club. Now, you can look at this stretch against these against the iron of the National League, and again, I'm talking about the Cubs, the Phillies, and the Dodgers, and you could say, wait a minute, the Red Sox who played in those games are better than the Red Sox who played early in the season. I would agree with you. I think they are. So no stat in and of itself is all telling. You always have to factor in the timing of it, the details of it, all those things, which is why really stats or metrics of any kind can be deceiving in a small sample. It's all about the big picture. Okay, they're really just big metrics, barometer metrics to give you some sort of idea. The other thing is this, and I'll give you another one. When Garrett Crochet pitches, the Red Sox are 15-7. Okay, 15-7. And in fact, in the last 10, they're 9-1. So that whole difference of 15-7 has come in the last 10 starts for Garrett Crochet. Call it the last 6 weeks. Somewhere in there. The rest of the time, they're a losing team. Now, an ace can have this kind of bearing or impact on a team. He can change your season because he's that good, and that's what Crochet is. We've seen this over the years with the Red Sox. There were years where Roger Clemens took them to the playoffs almost all by himself. Pedro Martinez did the same kind of thing. You have one guy like that in your rotation, not just an ace, the ace, one of the premier forces in the league. It can impact the ultimate bottom line on paper. That's why you pay him. That's why you get him. That's why you pay him. At the same time, it doesn't say much for what you are when he's not on the mound. Now, I'm going to give you a little background on this one because after the Red Sox lost on Friday night, they fell behind early in that game. Saturday, they sent Garrett Crochet to the mound, and I found myself saying, okay, this is going to be an important game because you have to win this one, and then coin flip Sunday. You have a couple of, middle to end of rotation guys going. Walker Buehler against Dustin May. You can steal that game. You win the series. But you got to win with Crochet on Saturday. That's the one you got to get. Red Sox fell behind 2-0 in the early part of that game. In fact, first inning, Ohtani homers, Teoscar Hernandez homers. Here you go. Dodgers up 2-0. And I found myself saying, well, here we go again. And on the radio broadcast, I'm listening to Will Fleming. And Will Fleming says... it might have been Will Middlebrooks. No. I don't remember who was on with him this weekend, Jimmy.
Might have been Mike Monaco?
I don't remember. Might have been Monaco, actually. So, because Monaco did the game Friday night with Sean McDonough, right? So I was listening, and I think Monaco said the Red Sox have allowed first-inning runs in 7 of the 9 games they've played since the All-Star break. And I thought, okay, well, this explains everything. They're behind all the time. Their first inning ERA is one of the worst in the game. They suck at it. They fall behind constantly. It's a terrible way to play good teams. So I texted from the car our intern, Thomas. I gave him a weekend project. I said to him, I want total runs scored in this road trip in the first inning, Red Sox and opponents. I want total runs scored in the first 3 innings, Red Sox and opponents, on this road trip or on this in this 9-game stretch against the Cubs, Phillies, and Dodgers. And I want to know how many innings were played in total and in how many of those the opposition had the lead. So here's what Thomas came back with. In the first inning, in the 9 games, again, I'm going to say this once just to get it out of the way. This is all in the 9 games against the 3 National League teams that were in first place. The Red Sox were outscored in the first inning 12-2. They were outscored in the first 3 innings, innings 1 through 3, 21-8. This is all since the All-Star break. And through yesterday's game, they had played 84 innings, and the opposition had led in 47.5 of them. The Red Sox had led for 25.5. So now let me just add this. That the 25.5 innings that the Red Sox led, 14 of them came after I sent the text to Thomas. In other words, it was they tied the game up on Saturday. They actually went ahead 3-2 on a sacrifice fly by Abraham Toro. But Jarren Duran hit a 2-run triple to tie the game. The Red Sox then went ahead on the sac fly. And from that point forward, they really didn't trail much for the rest of the game. They led the rest of the game. And the same thing happened on Sunday when they got out in front and then fell behind before Bregman hit the 3-run homer. So they're still not playing great baseball. They're not what you would call classic baseball by a good team. So I think good teams, and I use this phrase all the time, fast starts, strong finishes, both with regard to the season and on any given night. Get off to a fast start and have a strong finish, you're usually going to win. Be good at the beginning, be good at the end, a little soft in the middle. And that's generally how most wins go. The team that scores first in baseball, did you know, wins 70% of the time. 70%. So the Red Sox took the final 2 games of this series after falling behind. To their credit, they fought back. Those are character wins, and I think that's what these were. But trading deadline's on Friday. You now face the Twins. Apparently, the Red Sox had a bad flight going into Minnesota last night, had to land in Detroit. As a lot of the guys on the flight got sick or were, should I say, rubber-legged getting off the plane, still feeling the effects of the flight. The trading deadline is looming. Ownership is talking about picking up guys like Shane Bieber, who hasn't thrown a pitch this year. And I think that the Red Sox should be adding more. So my question for you is, would you add? Would you half-ass it? How much do you believe in this team? And before you answer, I want you to consider what the environment was like at Fenway Park over the weekend, because I want to get to that too. It was another home game for the visiting team, or another home series for the visiting team. Some people in the Red Sox organization don't ever remember seeing Fenway get overrun like it did with the Dodgers in town and their fans in town over the weekend. So, trade deadline thoughts, series thoughts, big picture thoughts, all on the table. 617-779-0985 on the Baseball Hour.
The Baseball Hour with Tony Mass. Baseball Hour on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
High fly ball that's deep to the triangle. Duran back, and she's gone. That's a two-run homer. Teoscar Hernandez, number 15, and a huge blow for L.A. in the 8th inning to make it 5-2.
That's why strike one is so important against the middle of this order. He missed up and in with the slider first pitch. Comes back with the fastball middle in. It doesn't matter if it's 98 or not. Teoscar Hernandez doesn't miss the pitches like that, especially sinkers down the zone. He can stay inside of it and hit a long ways.
I know everybody talks about Teoscar Hernandez or Shohei Ohtani with good reason. Best player in the world. Unique talent, once-in-a-lifetime type of player. Phenomenal. Teoscar Hernandez freaking kills the Red Sox. Always. Talk about the one that got away. They tried to sign him 2 years ago, tried to sign him again. Can you think of the difference a bat like that, a right-handed bat like that, would have made or would make in the middle of the Red Sox lineup? Which brings me to the trade deadline, by the way, and some of the stuff that is out there. Kenny Rosenthal over the weekend saying that Tampa Bay now could be a seller, that Yandy Diaz is a target for the Red Sox, hitting 290, 18 home runs, 60 RBI, something like that with Tampa Bay. Every time he comes up to the plate against the Red Sox, I sort of think, I like this guy. He'd be a good addition. Play first base, hit right-handed, would change their lineup. So there's a lot of moves they could make this week, depending on who gets moved, who's available. And to me, Yandy Diaz and Joe Ryan would be at the top of the list. Anyway, 617-779-0985. Pockets is in Leominster. Pockets, what do you got?
Hey, Maz. Just the Sox. They're beating up on the scrubs there like they should, right? They're a better team. And against the East, they get the best record in the East. They're 20-13. They're 7 games over in the East. Toronto's second. They're 4 games over in the East. So, I enjoy watching them. But they are frustrating as hell. They're bonehead plays and stuff. But they got some good young talent coming up. The Sox got to make an addition in the pitching staff. And Diaz at first for the rest of the season, that'd be great.
Yeah, so, sorry. Go ahead.
Nope.
Oh, lost you. Sorry, that was a mistake. I didn't mean to click on that right away. But, yeah, look, the record in the division, always important. It's not as important as it used to be because you don't play – it used to be you played half your games in the division. They don't really do that anymore. They've changed the schedule. You play just about you do play everybody now. You just, alternate whether it's home or road in any given year. But you play everybody during the course of the season, all of which is good. The one thing I'll tell you, though, is that 20-13, they're 3-7 against Toronto. That's currently the first place team. So they haven't beaten the Blue Jays really head-to-head. And to me, the difference is probably Toronto's pitching as well as their lineup. I think Toronto's a little better than you. Now, go out and get another starting pitcher and a first baseman, and I think you can match up with anybody in the American League. Would I pick them if they get Joe Ryan and Yandy Diaz? And that's asking a lot. But if they get those two guys, would I pick them to win the World Series? No. But I'd pick them to be a threat to get out of the league. Start with that. And given the way the Red Sox are trending, because you touched on this, they have added, they have drafted and developed some pretty good young players. I mean, Roman Anthony is generally playing great. He had a tough series against Philadelphia. But overall, in the last, 40-some-odd games, he's got an OPS of almost 900. I mean, for a guy who just got here, this is pretty damn good. Ron in Medford. Get Ron.
Yeah, Tony, the reason why the Dodgers took over Fenway, which is nauseating, is because obviously the fans that get season tickets, who have tickets, had to make those tickets available for Dodger fans to buy them, and their fans travel well. But it's because the fans, it isn't that they don't believe in the team so much, although they probably don't, but it's the organization that we don't believe in anymore. The days of them going out and really trying to win and taking that shot at getting to a World Series and winning it, it's over. It's never going to happen. And you said they're looking at some guy who hasn't thrown a pitch all year. That's what they're looking at. I mean, it's no belief in the organization.
So, Ron, look, I think you've nailed it. I think that's the bullseye. So the question I have is this. How much of that is a reflection on you? And I don't mean you specifically, but I mean you, the fan. Some of that has to be a reflection on you. You want to tell me that in other years that the Braves came in and their fans overran the ballpark, or the Rangers fans on 4th of July weekend overran the ballpark. You want to tell me that some of that is, especially when there are markets like that, where the fan said, ooh, the team's going to Boston this weekend, cool ballpark, never been there, would like to go. Red Sox tickets are easier to get now because the team's not very good and nobody goes to the games. Fine, no problem. Totally get it. 100% a reflection on the organization that led the product to deteriorate, and fans weren't interested in the team, so they were all more than willing to give up their tickets. But now look at it from the other perspective. The caller before you said they have some good young players. They're trending in the right direction. I agree. It doesn't mean I'm happy with where they are or what they're going to do this week. But is it better this year than it was last year? My answer is yes. And the last couple of homestands have been pretty good. The environment against the Rays was excellent. The environment over the weekend was excellent, although much of that was from Dodgers fans. So all of a sudden the Red Sox are in the playoffs, which right now they are. And they have a budding Ceddanne Rafaela, a talented Roman Anthony, whom the other guys on the team are all raving about. Aroldis Chapman's had a big year. Garrett Crochet pitched over the weekend. So they do have some things going for them. And did you hear what it sounded like when we played that home run? Alex Cora certainly noticed. So after the game, Cora was asked about the crowd noise at Fenway Park. Here's what he said.
Recently, the atmosphere here has felt like October.
Not in the first inning. That was Dodger Stadium like, to be honest with you. I never seen so many people from the opposition in one ballpark. That was different. Yeah, credit to them. They've done an amazing job throughout the years. Getting to October and making a habit of that, and their fan base, they travel well, but that was loud. That was very loud. I've never seen anything like that.
Never seen anything like that. Cora played at both places, of course, with the Dodgers, with the Red Sox. So maybe he's just sucking up to his Dodgers roots. Maybe there's some sort of message in there to, Red Sox ownership and management. Maybe there's some sort of message in there to the fans. Hey, get your asses off the couch, come into the ballpark, because the environment we had against the Rays was pretty good. So we need your help. That is, if you can get your ass off the couch. Anyway, overall, look, I'm all for noise in the ballpark. Whatever the noise is, no matter who's making it, adds to the environment, adds to the story, adds to the fun. That's all a part of it. But I said this earlier on Felger and Mads that half of me wondered whether that comment about what the ballpark was like and him never having seen it, whether it was a little dig at the Red Sox organization, the way it was when Bill Parcells went out to Vegas, saw the new stadium there and said, wow, look at this place. As if to say, our place is a rat hole compared to this. So I don't know. If I were a fan that really cared, if I were a hardcore fan, I'd be embarrassed by what happened at Fenway Park over the weekend. And I think it's an embarrassment all across the board. So the Red Sox haven't given you a product that you would deem worthy in the last, call it 5 or 6 years. This year's been a little bit better. At times, it's been a stupid team, but it's also been a pretty entertaining team. And that last homestand, the last time they were home, was a fun homestand. This was, one of the more entertaining, enjoyable homestands they've had in a long time. Pete's and Lynn. Pete, what do you got?
Hey, Tony, first time, long time. Listen, so I think this team is good. They're young. but they got to take advantage of the better production that they're getting right now. And when I say go all in on the trade deadline, for me, let me give you 2 names. One we might see this upcoming series, Griffin Jax. Another one is Josh Bell. Haven't heard any rumors, but I have to imagine he's going to get moved. There's a lot of guy like that at first, and Griffin Jax in the bullpen. I think they'd be in good shape. Okay,
I'd rather have Yandy Diaz than Josh Bell. I really like Yandy Diaz. So I'd rather have that one. Who else did he say? I went right. That one went in and out. I couldn't hear him that great, Jimmy. Who did he say the other guy was? Did you pick up on that?
I did not.
Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe someone else can clue me in on that one.
It doesn't matter. They're not doing anything. They had food poisoning or turbulence or some excuse on this flight to Minnesota. They're getting swept by the Twins. The business people will be happy because now they can sell off everything. They can come in clear under the luxury tax. They can profit, and they can tell you, look at all these prospects we got for next year because we'll go for it next year.
It sounds like Jimmy was on the flight, too. You're still a little rubber-legged from the flight?
I can't. You should have got Joe Ryan a month ago. You should have made moves a month ago. Now I have to wait and see Shane, don't call me Justin Bieber. Like, I have to watch Danny Jansen go to the Brewers. Like, I have to see the Twins deal off their Game 2 starter to the Tigers. Like, I have to watch all these other teams make moves, and I'm just going to sit here and just wait until they lose 3 to the Twins and sell off. Like, F that.
I am eager to see. Joe Ryan is not pitching in this series. My hope is that the Red Sox take him with them when they leave. I'm not holding my breath.
I mean, the last time they had a trade deadline in Minnesota, Nomar got dealt.
Boy, well, that's true, Jimmy. Actually, it's a good point. No, I don't know if that was the last time they were in Minnesota, but I'll take your word for it. And I remember Nomar got dealt when they were in Minnesota. That's when it happened. Anyway, 617-779-0985. There are some good names out there. We'll fill you in on a couple of the reports over the weekend concerning the trade deadline. Kevin Majori's got your headlines. We'll give you all the latest on the first day in pads down in Foxborough for the Patriots.
Sports Hub.
Maz and a panel of experts.
Oh, I like this.
It's the Baseball Hour with Tony Maz on the Sports Hub.
Ken Rosenthal, I want to let you wrap up that thought about first base and the Red Sox.
Right, Joe. A couple of days ago, of course, the Seattle Mariners traded for Josh Naylor. Ryan O'Hearn of the Baltimore Orioles is another possibility, but there could be an even more intriguing option surfacing. Tampa Bay Rays are trending towards selling. They're 3-4 since the break entering tonight, 6-15 since June 28th. And if they sell, and if they make Yandy Diaz available, he'd be very attractive to the Red Sox.
Yeah.
Majority of his time at DH this year. Would you say, Jimmy, 90 out of 100 games, basically?
Yeah, I think it's like he's been the DH 90 times and only at first base like 15.
Okay, I'll tell you what. I'd still do it. Because they need the right-handed bat. They could DH and play him at first sometimes. In other words, move him around. I'm not too picky about where the righty bat is unless it plays a position that you've already clearly have a choice. So, for example, I don't want a third baseman. They have that. But if you can get a DH and occasionally play him at first, he has a little bit of versatility. To me, that would be doable. But lots of stuff out there. I mean, certainly there was a report today, Shane Bieber on the Red Sox radar. I don't love that one. How could you? I wouldn't even count that was in a freaking deadline pickup. That doesn't count. Guy hasn't pitched this year. How do you know what the hell he's going to be able to give you? That's really about next year and rolling the dice. But again, reclamation project, rehab, guy coming off an injury, had Tommy John surgery. Heard that story before? Boy, the Red Sox love those guys coming off of Tommy John, don't they?
Patrick Sandoval, Luis Giolito, Liam Hendricks. Should I go on?
Wow, they end up paying out the nose for him. So, for example, Giolito, now he wasn't coming off of Tommy John. He had it. He got hurt the first spring they had him, but it ends up being a 1-year deal for $38 million. In this case with Bieber, it would be the rest of this year and next year. So call it like $20 million for 1 year, which is what they basically just gave Bueller, who has had Tommy John surgery. They love the freaking Tommy John guys. They love that on the 1-year deals. It doesn't matter if the guy sucks. So you take 1 year, we'll sign anybody. We'll sign Stu to pitch. Jimmy, get Tommy John, they'll sign you.
I throw a nasty knuckle curve.
Holy crap, do they love the freaking injured guys.
I can spin it like you read about.
Liam Hendricks is a reliever, another one. Garrett Richards, another one. James Paxton, another one. I mean, just keep piling them on. Let me go find some other guy whose arm had to be cut open and repaired. We're in. John's in Plainville. Go ahead, John.
Hey, Tony. Not to go too far backwards, I just wanted to point out, my God, the Dodgers, they must talk to each other in the hotels, because I was standing on the corner of Mass Ave and Boylston when hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of them came spilling out of that hotel neighborhood chanting Dodgers. It was an endless sea, a parade of Dodgers fans. I've never seen anything like it in my life. It was unbelievable.
Yeah, how did it
hundreds of them.
How did it make you feel, John?
Pretty insignificant.
Yeah,
I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I was just going to say, it made me feel like a loser. No, it's always a good feeling when people come in from another city with a baseball team that's better than yours, buy your tickets, sit in your stadium and cheer when their team beats your ass, which is what happened on Friday night. Now, the Red Sox took the remaining 2 games of the series, so that's good. But remember when you were that team? Remember when the Red Sox would go on the road to Tampa and just take over the ballpark, or Baltimore and take over the ballpark? Now, again, the bad news for you if you're a Red Sox fan is that tickets were hard to get, because back then people actually wanted to keep their tickets, go to the games, or sell them to their friends instead of some clown from L.A. But now they'd rather get the money from the people in L.A. who are willing to travel anywhere to watch their team, the same way that you used to do. The Red Sox fans apparently don't want to do that anymore. Can't say I blame you. So the organization is culpable on some level. But like I said earlier, it's getting close to time for the Red Sox fan to look at himself or herself in the mirror. because the team is getting better. Like right now, if the Red Sox were a stock, I'd say their value is increasing as it goes forward. Maybe not much, but if you are an investor and you're looking for a team that could be good and is heading in the right direction, they might be a good bet. John is in a car. John, what do you got?
Tony, I was at the Rafaela game on the Friday night. I come back from vacation, and they're 7 out. What happened?
John, I don't think I need to tell you. Don't you know?
Hey, Tony, when you go to your local pizza shop, do you get, like, the ticket and they stamp it 10 times and you get a free pizza? Is that what the Red Sox do with the UCL reclamation project, that they get a free draft pick if they take so many on? Because why anybody would want Shane Bieber at the deadline, I don't understand why you're even talking about that. It's a waste of oxygen. You have a legitimate chance to make a run at making the playoffs. This weekend, they were pretty good. I'll take 4 and 5 against the 3 best teams in the National League. 4 and 5, 5 and 4. That's all right. My problem is Jarren Duran has a good game, couple of triples, but he still screws up on the bases. And at this point, it's on the coaches, Tony. They should be telling these guys like they're children. Okay, 1 out, 2 outs. With that ball that Conforto screwed up in left field, with his speed, he scores there when he's running like a lunatic. And he completely lost track of the outs, and they didn't score that inning. And it's just the same nonsense, which is why I'm always on the soapbox to get rid of them.
So, John, listen, it's a fair point. Let me just ask you quickly, though. Do we know for sure? Do we know for sure that the coach didn't tell him how many outs there were?
Well, no, because I think at this point they probably have it all drilled into their head by Cora, not the management, that, you know, they should be holding signs up for these guys that just to tell them how many outs there are so they can see it all over the stadium. They should give it to the fans out in the field so that they can see it. I've never seen a team like this, Tony. Legitimately, people standing on the same base, getting tagged out, not knowing how many outs there are. I'm surprised they're not running backwards around the diamond. It's like that out of control with this team.
Okay, I have seen it. I've seen the Red Sox play this stupid before, maybe worse. Jimmy, do you remember that stretch of years? Was that under Farrell where they forgot how many outs there were over and over again? You remember that?
There was at least 15 instances of them one season with John Farrell.
I mean, really, so you remember it too. It was Farrell,
did a
right?
bit on it.
Yeah, they couldn't count. Now, the thing with Duran at first base, so I know John says you blame the coaches. He should be telling the player every single time. Can I tell you what my experience is with coaches and base runners? I think they tell every guy who's on the bases. They remind him when he comes over and go over the situation with him. Seriously, I'm not joking. I think it's like part of the job. The first thing you do is tell the base runner, okay, look, 2 outs, you're going on anything. That's the job. So I don't believe for a second that the coaches aren't saying anything. I think they talk to every runner that goes over there. I think they told Jarren Duran, and he still forgot. So he was probably distracted, or who knows what, got over there and, like, who knows what he's thinking. The coach says it, hey, just remember, yeah, okay, yeah. And any guy who's married knows that you've done it 1,000,000 times. Yep, okay, I got it. And then 10 minutes later, what did you say? It's like it goes in one ear and out the other. I blame the player. I mean, the other thing is, even if the coach doesn't tell you, you should know it. Don't put it on the coach. So, yes, they're stupid. They continue to be stupid. And incredibly, if it all ended today, they'd be in the playoffs. Amazing. Bob's in West Palm Beach. What do you got, Bob?
Yeah, hey, I heard they sold a bunch of packages to come in and see Ohtani for the weekend and then shuffle him off to Cooperstown to see Suzuki get inducted. And that brought in a lot of folks.
Oh, to see Ichiro get inducted.
Right.
Okay, yeah, I got you. Sorry, I didn't know what you said. He said Suzuki. How many people call Ichiro Suzuki?
We found one.
I mean, he's like Elvis, right? He goes by first name. You ever hear people call Elvis Presley?
No. It's like Maz.
They might say.
We found out your actual first name is Tony. I thought it was Maz all these years.
They might say Elvis Presley, but they wouldn't say, yeah, I went to see Presley. No, you just say Elvis. It's like he's on a first name basis. Ichiro's kind of the same caliber, don't you think? But was there, Jimmy, do you have any idea whether that's true, whether there was some sort of package of coming?
I'm sure that Major League Baseball put together, because I've looked into this stuff in past years, about doing a stadium tour. So you start with the Mets or the Yankees, you come to Baltimore, you go to Boston, and then you go to Cooperstown. So these packages, these travel packages do exist.
Okay, so, but again, the tickets have to come from somewhere.
Major League Baseball travel packages.
So you're telling me Major League Baseball bought like 10,000 tickets inside of Fenway Park and sold them to Dodgers fans who might be also Japanese and wanted to see both Ohtani and Ichiro?
Not 10,000, but maybe like 100.
Okay, so again, this is what I'm getting at. You want to tell me that 500 people even bought those packages? No problem. Is that how many people were cheering at Fenway Park over the weekend?
No, it's probably about 20,000.
I mean, it felt that way, didn't it?
Oh, it did. I was in the ballpark Friday night. I was on the streets of Boston Friday afternoon and Friday night, and it's all Dodgers fans with Ohtani or Mookie Betts jerseys.
If you're a Red Sox fan, I think...
I was embarrassed.
All I'm saying is to a Red Sox fan out there, you're partly responsible one way or the other. Partly. You can put more of it on the team if you want. Part of it's on you. Either because you sold your tickets or you don't really think they're worthy of going anymore. And I would tell you that this team this year is worthy of going. Even I go. Or will. Soon. Matt in Westwood. Matt, what do you got?
Maz, Sox ownership must think we are a bunch of dopes. If they're trying to tank this team, they're forgetting we've all seen the movie Major League. We've seen the flight through the thunderstorm. We've seen them taping up the propeller. Henry, you busted, buddy.
Okay, so look, I don't think it's gone quite that far. I think that I think they thought this team was going to be better than it is this year, and I think they're a little frustrated too. Maybe a lot. So, I don't know. There's a little bit of inside info I have in terms of how the Red Sox are viewing things lately. Nothing earth-shattering, but maybe we'll get to it later in the week. It's not anything we should really pound home right now. No, I said a little bit. It's nothing earth-shattering. It's not worth putting in the show. Jimmy's like shrugging at me like, what are you doing? What are we doing here?
Why are you withholding information from me and the audience?
I'm just telling you it's not all that worthy.
But more importantly, me. I need the information.
Okay, well, you'll get it when everyone else does.
Thank you.
We'll wrap it up when we come back in the baseball hour.
This is... seriously. The Baseball Hour with Tony Maz on the Sports Hub.
Joe Ryan with them. They returned to Boston. And in the series over the weekend against the Astros, Houston has to face Crochet and Joe Ryan back-to-back. Now that would be a good story. But again, big week for the Red Sox. Trading deadline on Friday. Series against the Twins in between a stretch of games against the Cubs, the Phillies, the Dodgers, and the Astros coming in here. So good competition. Big trade deadline. Can't have a letdown in this series. Rich and Needham, quickly. Rich, what do you got?
Yeah, Tony, I want your thoughts on a first base, Ryan Mountcastle from the Orioles, possibly. And for pitching solutions, I'm thinking Quinn Priester or Nick Pivetta.
Okay, forget Quinn Priester. You just traded him away. Like the Brewers all of a sudden are going to give him back to you? The Red Sox had him. They traded him to Milwaukee. And he got better when he went to the Brewers. What does that tell you? Nick Pivetta, and I say this with all the love in my heart, no thanks. Been there, done that. See, I am a believer that there are certain places that are more suited for certain people, and they're just higher intensity day-to-day living. San Diego's laid back. Boston's not. I just don't think this was ever the right place for Nick Pivetta. He's having a good year with the Padres, though. So sometimes it's just about being in the right place at the right time. And I just don't think Pivetta was ever a great fit for here because, again, it's not what it used to be, Boston, certainly, but it's still, San Diego is still nowhere near as intense as Boston when it comes to a player's experience. Anyway, Joe Murray coming up next. He's got you for the balance of the night. I think it's Joe Murray. I haven't seen him yet, but apparently he's in the building somewhere. Kevin Maggiorio gets you caught up on your headlines, including all the developments from the first day of padded practices in Foxborough. Mike Vrabel addressed the media earlier in the day, and there was a key injury down there, which Kevin will tell you all about. We'll catch you next time.